Hello, Gainesville. I'm Virginia Grant. This is an episode of Synergy, the podcast. And today we have Mr. Anthony J. Pierce joining us. Anthony is the Community Engagement Manager at Pace Centers for Girls. How are you today, Mr. Pierce?
I am excellent, Lady V. How are you feeling today?
I am well too, but I like your word excellence. I'll be excellent as well.
Okay. We gonna walk together because we agree then.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. So, Anthony, you were recently featured in our Synergy magazine. So, I wanted to come on and talk a little bit more about you and your story. But before we do that, I wanted to have a little bit of a deep conversation, if you don't mind.
I'm ready.
All right. I wanted to know, or I wanted to see, we might be able to talk about tokenism a little bit and how as individuals, as Black professionals, we handle that and at the same time find that balance. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Actually, recently I participated in this living book series where the whole premise of it is that all of us as humans, we are a book with a collection of stories, various chapters. The book is still being written. And one of the things that they asked me to speak about was tokenism, and specifically the plight of being the token Black, and how oftentimes it's a, hey, I see some type of utility from you, and I want to, one, it sounds like I'm giving you an opportunity, but really you just want to exploit that. And it's more of a, how can I say it? Do this trick and do it until we don't need you to do it anymore. And I don't really care about your care. I don't, oftentimes just in life, period, people don't see your entire plate. They just see that one little scoop that they feel like they want to give to you. Right. And so it can be exhausting to be expected to only give this certain layer that people expect actually to get from you. Yeah. And so when it comes down to tokenism, it's a perform, do this when I need you to do it. And then you go over there and sit in a corner, chew your food quietly. And I'll let you know when I need to pull you out of the box.
Need you again. Yeah. I like your perspective on that. And I know even from my own life and journey as being a Black woman, a Black professional woman, you do run into that no matter what. You're going to be in that position at some point in time. Right. What are some of the things that you've learned to do in your personal life to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your self-care?
I think when it comes down to self-care, boundaries are important, and to communicate that early, because you'll hear parents say often, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Well, people do that too. And the only people that I found to be uncomfortable with boundaries are those who would abuse them. And so if you're not careful, again, just speaking about myself, tokenism is something that is groomed at a very early age. You're that kid. So growing up in the Black church, it was, you're the one who's going to do the oratorical contest. After, it starts off, do the welcome acknowledgement of visitors. Okay, now do the oratorical contest, or, be the one to do the speech at, the banquet, or, the community saying, come to this and do that. And it just continues to build. Right. And so you just keep saying yes. And then that boundary just gets extended further and further. Until now you just feel like you have to say yes, because it's well, people expect this of me. And it's almost is this a part of me? Is it a part of my character? Am I actually comfortable speaking in front of people? Or do I do it because I'm expected to do that? And then as a professional, it can just burn you out so much more. I think it's different. So speaking that we're in Gainesville, it's not like we're in a majority Black town. And the fact that that's the case, and we're in the South, oftentimes as Black professionals, just from having conversations with, friends, family, colleagues, what have you, we find ourselves being one of the more solo voices. And if something comes up, they look to you to say, tell me how all Black people feel about a particular topic. And I'm not the gatekeeper of all things that's Black perspective. I can tell you about how I feel and how I grew up. Yeah. So these are my experiences, and this is what I know to be true. But then we feel like we have to choose our words so carefully, which is oftentimes, and then you feel like you're in a space of, okay, well, do I need to play the game, if you will, so I can create more room at the table? Or do I not play the game and maybe don't get to the table as fast or have my
Right.
seat isn't as big or
Ooh.
it can get convoluted, but I just realized I'm going on a tangent from what you asked me
No,
about
no.
self-care, going back
I
to the,
No,
but
I love where you're going, Anthony, because one of the things that I found since I started Gainesville Black Professional is now I'm being invited to do all these things. Okay.
mhm,
I can't do all things Black professionals in Gainesville. There's too many things that
right,
need to be done. So
right,
Synergy, the magazine, is a part of that process to let the community know there's a whole bunch of Black professionals in our
right,
community. You see Virginia, but there's so many. Like if you come to one of our events, you'll meet 201 pop. You know,
right.
like
Mhm,
200. And if you come to our
absolutely.
next event, you'll meet a whole nother 200, like, because they're brand
Right,
new people that didn't come to the last event. And
correct.
so part of me doing the magazine and a part of us doing this podcast is to say, stop calling Virginia, call Anthony, call
Right,
Chris, call
right,
Narvella, call some of all of these other Black professionals in the community, because it's like you said, did you want to do the oratorical contest? Maybe, maybe not. Do I
right,
want to sit on this board? Maybe, maybe not. But there may be someone in the community that will say, absolutely, yes, that's my passion, that's my heart, that's my love. And that's the person that should be on that board, not
right,
Virginia, because you know Virginia, you know.
right.
Oh man, I just appreciate you for sharing that, because that's what I've
Yeah,
been.
we feel, yes, I feel very seen right now because if you look at it, Virginia is so people talk about budgeting and think that only means financially, but you have to budget all things that are resources, your time, your energy, your talents, your finances. Then looking at Virginia and all that she gives, she is a limited resource by way of what's healthy. And so you're going to deplete her and then not get the best of
The
what,
best. Yeah.
right. And you want to be able to try to give to the richness, like you want to make sure, hey, this is being all that I'm able to offer.
Yes.
And so and I think even challenging people to expand what their idea of professional is. Professional does not just mean I have a PhD and I do this and I have a corner office. And no, are you employed? Whether it be through someone else or if you have your own business, you're still a professional. I appreciate those, the post office, the sanitation
The
truck drive, like
cafeteria, the
all
school
of them.
cafeteria lady that worked there 35 years, she's a professional.
That she
And
is
she
a
has so
professional.
much to offer, you know,
Correct.
the custodian, and you're right. Professionalism is not someone that dresses up every day. Professionalism is someone that goes in every single day and gives the best to
Correct.
their job, to their career. That's a professional in
Right.
my books. I don't care what your industry is. I don't care what your
Come
title is.
on.
That person that's showing up every day, that's making a better way for their family, that's leaving a legacy for their children and their children's children, their
Mhm.
children's children.
Right.
Those are the professionals. And oh my goodness, Anthony, why you came on here to preach this morning?
I didn't intend to. I don't want to be a bootleg preacher. Like I've even been trying to tell people that, oh, I don't think I should come to those events because I'm not a professional. No, 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 no. Yes,
Yes,
you
you
are.
come.
I
Yes.
remember I had a conversation with someone that came to deliver Amazon packages to my job, and I invited him to come to an event. He's like, "That's I'm not a professional, sir. I'm looking at you. You're at work now,
That's
and
right.
I appreciate you. Who does
Yes.
not appreciate Amazon
Oh,
deliveries?
I do. They be at
So
my door almost every day. I
come
love
on,
Amazon delivery. Especially
save your
when they knock
gas.
on the door and wait for me to
My
leave
God.
a receipt. Oh man, I love being an Amazon delivery person now.
It's Christmas. They are Santa Claus, and they don't even realize it. I'm gonna leave you milk and cookies.
Yes, yes, man. So, Anthony, thank you so much for sharing those thoughts. It resonates in my spirit so much because that's what we really got to do. We got to get the community. You can't just keep looking at the professionals that are already out there. You got to look past that layer into the
Right.
next layer, to the next layer, to those quiet people that are
Mhm.
not going to talk up, but they have so much to offer.
Right.
And I hope by us doing the podcast, by us doing the magazine, that will allow people to meet more professionals, come to our events, meet more professionals, and let's
Right.
use everybody, spread the love
Yes.
around. But I did want to talk a little bit about yourself. I know you're at Pace
Okay.
Girls. I know
Yes.
you were in the magazine. Why did you
Yes.
allow us to tell your story? Tell me about that.
Whew. My story. So it's a believe it or not, I'm more of a behind the scenes person than most people think. I'm actually what I like to call myself a performed extrovert.
Mm,
I kind of prefer, so for folks who come to Games of Black professional events, I'm typically working the table at registration because I feel it's a, you come to me, I'm gonna give you good energy and keep going because I kind of get nervous walking up to people and people are like,
okay.
no, I don't believe it. Okay, looking at an event I've put on and see if you've ever seen me on the mic. I might be running around behind the scenes, but no, I don't need to get up and talk. I hug
Right.
everybody. Y'all, I'm a
Yeah.
hugger. But I hug everybody, but I don't necessarily want to talk in front of everybody, although I can because I've always had to.
Had to.
Um, as far as like to your question, what made me want to partner with you to allow my story to be shared? One, I was honored because it's a, I mean, all right, let's just this me and Lady V talking. It's a, you know, I'm the one, I'm gonna send you a, hey, I got a question. Hey, I got an idea. Can we do what? It's a, you have always made me feel just extremely safe with sharing. Like, 'cause, you know, people can make you feel dumb for having an idea or something like that. Or you don't have, this is what y'all need to know about Lady V. She's open to everyone and everything. Like she's as like, I mean, she's, I call her Lady V because she's always been so classy. That does not stop her from being able to be relatable and wanting to touch
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
With that being said, living a kind of like, oh, let me just kind of do this behind the scenes. Uh, I realized there were things that so many people didn't know
Mhm.
about my
About you.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, there was a particular part in the article where I talked about, yeah, I hid from my family that I was, you know, low key homeless. And so my parents were like, tell me about this now. And so, because it was still a secret.
It was
And I was
still
like,
a
oh,
secret.
I forgot y'all were gonna read that. And I, you know, kind of explained to him what happened because it was, long story short, moved here, moved back to Gainesville for a job opportunity. And it was me applying was supposed to be a formality. I was finishing off a contract. Then they forgot about me because it's a larger organization and they were worried about something taking place. Not I'm saying worried, they were focused on
Awesome.
the VP that was retiring. And it was, okay, well, let's just extend your contract again. And I found out that, again, long story short, um, I wasn't being offered the job. And so 2 days later, my grandmother passed. And so at first I was just trying to process, like, all right, this didn't work out. I moved here and I felt like God was telling me to move to Gainesville. Because I actually, after I left Gainesville, I said, all right, God, I'm gonna be back in 2 years. 2 years to the month I came back because someone asked me to come back. And I said, okay, now I feel like you told me to come here, but this isn't panning out the way I thought. And here it is, I'm moving from couch to couch because I don't want to bother anyone for, you know, any particular amount of time. Everything I own is in my trunk and I'm showing up to trust and to church rather and pulling suits out of my trunk and they have no idea, you know, what that's looking like. And it's not that I didn't have a home to go to at all. My parents made it. I just didn't want to tell
Always
them. It
can
was
go home.
dealing with
Exactly.
grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all are dealing with, we're all dealing with grief. And that wasn't a time where, oh, let me tell you what's happening. And so then I just really still felt like God was saying, no, Gainesville is where you're supposed to be. And so as I explained it to them, you all are my earthly parents. I just had to make sure I was still listening to my Heavenly Father. And I didn't want to tempt pulling on your heartstrings as my parents and you all interfering potentially with what I knew was God's will for
God's
me.
will. Yes.
So I'd rather, right, y'all not know, and I just figure it out because I feel like you all raised me to be resourceful,
Yeah.
and I have an amazing village of people
Wow.
who love and support me, so we can figure this thing out. And my dad was like, "Because you know, I would have drove the games and put you in a car." My mom like, "Yeah," and I would have been like, "Go get him, Joseph." And I said, "Right, I know it. I know my parents." I said, "So I just." There was a time, excuse me. There was a time I just had to figure things out,
Yeah.
and so people, I had relatives reach out to me and say, I learned things about you that I had no idea. Like you were breeding rabbits and you were selling paintings and like what was happening? It was like I just always hustled because it was you just kind of saw it. I think the idea of like Santa Claus was, I know my behavior, I know your behavior, but you got way more than I
Yeah.
did. So I
They
don't think it's just about being a good kid. And
know.
so it was like, what can I do to try to make sure I'm more of a blessing than a burden on to my parents who I love, admire, respect, and honor so much. So I've always just been, how can we just, figure it out? And so
Yeah.
people are just saying like, you never know what people are smiling through. People
You
talk
don't.
about, hey, someone's going through something, but Lady V, I've seen you have a smile on your face at all times. Like being
Yeah.
someone, I'm just even thinking about being at an event with you.
Yeah.
And I know stuff about who done whispered something in your ear about, hey, we need to go to plan B about something. There's a monkey wrench thrown. And you can't tell. You just as gracious and give everyone, you're so present with everyone. And y'all have no idea, the battles she even checked at the door to come in here
Yeah.
and even deal with the battles that are in the room. And so I feel like that puts people in a position where, all right, well, she always seems she got it together. So I can just unload on her. I can just dump on her. And even if it's for a moment for people to think, maybe I should do a check-in before I automatically make them my counselor and have
Yeah.
an unloading session.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that
And
answers the long reason why.
no, but I love that, Anthony, because you touched on so many things. First of all, you're one of those people that constantly deposit. I know when you walk in the room, hey, we good, we good. It's some other people when they walk in the room, I'm good too. But then you add that extra level of we good, and that keeps me smiling. So I appreciate that friendship that we have and that partnership. But I want to let you know that I know that God brought you back here because you just have done too much good. And yes, he take us through our challenges. And right now, you're right. People have no idea the challenges that I've smiled through in the last year and a half, almost 2 years going on now. But I know, just like you knew, we got to walk through those things because
Right,
it's something that God's trying to do. Because you
right,
being a part of Gainesville Black professionals, you being a part of Pay Center for Girls, and I don't know all the testimonies there, but I know they are rich. But just what you have done within Gainesville Black professionals and making it or an organization, the things that come out of our events
mhm,
has to all be of God.
yes,
And it's what he wanted to give to Gainesville, to give to the people of Gainesville. So I know it was meant to be. I'm
mhm,
so glad that he allowed us to cross paths, but that was meant to be
yes.
too. And we're just gonna keep doing the Lord's work and keep,
Hey,
keep moving forward. And yeah, it's gonna be those challenges. It is. But we just keep on smiling right on through the challenges and keep
right,
depositing in each other. I think that's what we're going to take out of this. Like you can make withdrawals, but let's make sure
yeah,
we're depositing too.
right,
Because the more that we deposit, the more that person can give back to someone else or, push
right,
it on to someone else. So
yes.
before I close out though, is there anything else you want to share? I want to just say thank you. You got me feeling so good today. I was having a great day, but I'm gonna have an even greater day. And I thank you for that. But
Every time me and
that's
you
our
get together,
friendship,
every time.
I try to create those friendships with people. And I know you try to create those friendships with people because I always hear, like Tarina got on to me the other day, you hugging my brother kind of tight. And
Love me some Torino.
I know, just people feel your love. It's not just me. You give it to everybody. But before we close out, please, anything else you want to share with our audience?
I think I just want to take a moment because I know this entire platform you have created has been
We have created.
by
You
way of your
been there
vision.
since day one. We have created. Yes.
Okay, I'm down to be sidekick anytime. It's a Lady V, I remember we had a meeting in my office and you said, I'm gonna be right back. And you came and dusted my desk and my phone. Because you was like, I get you busy, you fine. You are together, man, but you are still a man, and there's certain things that you don't notice. And that's your heart. Like I mean, in a suit and some heels, you around there dusting my desk. And it's just I love the way that you love. Love is a verb, it's an action word, and you show it in so many ways to so many people. Like I'll sit there and watch the way you interact. It's not like you really have no respect of person. To be Christian is to be Christ-like. And you take that biblical ideal of having no respect of person. And I like how Natalia says treating the CEO the same with the same respect that you do the janitor. And I see you do that and take your time with people and make them feel like they are your priority in that moment, regardless of how many things you are carrying on your back. And I just thank you for creating this space for Black professionals, for individuals, for businesses, for being a connector of people, for being sensitive to God's voice and being obedient and moving forward, doing something new. I mean, I know I've heard, oh, we're like crabs in a barrel and we don't, no, no, I'm going to choose, by I mean you, I'm going to choose to uh, believe that we are better than those things and that we are here to uplift one another, to connect one another. Like, here's my resources. There's enough room at the table for all of us to
All of
eat.
us. Yes.
Not only do you need to give back to those who you know are in need, but check on your strong friends. I hope that's something that we can also glean from all things that you have shared through Gainesville Black Professionals. And you all just find out ways to get involved. Don't be that person with the who all over their spirit and wait to see it. Like, be proactive. Let Virginia know your ideas, and really, we want to be great with Gainesville Black. We want to be great because we believe in the greatness that's already here. You just put a highlight rather, on that Black excellence.
Yeah,
And
that's all we do. We just
yeah,
showcase. Yeah,
you
we
just
just showcase
showcase
it.
it.
It's there. We just turn the lights on. That's all. But
But
it's
come on,
there.
we turn the lights on. Motel 8 or 6, whoever say that, they could never. Not how you do, Lady B. And I hope everyone knows, although it's Gainesville Black Professionals, we're open to all allies. So
Yes.
please feel welcome. Like,
Everybody's welcome.
people of all backgrounds. Like, let's connect, let's share, and learn and grow together. And thank
Yeah.
you for this time. I really appreciate it.
Man, no, thank you for this time. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of Synergy, the podcast. Hope you have picked up the magazine by now. If not, it is available online. Go to our website, GainesvilleBlackProfessionals.com, where you'll read Anthony's story and all of the other miraculous, beautiful, wonderful stories that are in the magazine. And then once you read them, take the next step of coming out and joining us at a live event so you can meet some of those people. All right. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Anthony. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love you all. All right. Have a great one.